Happy Australia Day. I'm Jason.
And I'm Trent, and we're here on the unfiltered, unapologetically unprofessional wine journey. We're saying here, Jace.
Our saying is drink more, try more, learn more. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's a big day today, a big event. You're in the gold.
Yes.
I'm in the green.
Yes.
What does it mean?
Australia Day.
That rhyme just came out. That was awesome. Look, I want to share my thoughts a bit on what's been on my mind, and it's in regards to stains.
Yeah. What stains? In your pants?
Not in my pants stains. I don't think about that very often. It is in regards to red wine stains. And let me set the scene. Look, a couple of days ago, you and I were fortunate to attend a tasting event at the Real Review, and there was a lot of fantastic wines there, and we were trying a lot of different ones. I was the driver, so I was doing a lot of spitting. So out into the spittoon is what I needed to do, and we did an episode on how to perfect the art of that.
Yeah. Have you perfected it?
Obviously not, because there's two things that hit my mind. One, I spit into the spittoon, and then a big glob from the spittoon went back into my eye, right into this eye here.
And what went through your mind at that point?
And I thought, God, this is going to give me an infection because everyone's spit was in this bucket just mixing together straight into the eye. Honestly, I was itchy for 3 days.
So you got red eye.
It almost felt like that. So that's one thing that stood out. Yep. But it also triggered another memory of mine where we'd gone tasting, again spitting into spittoon, and I wore a white T-shirt. Actually, a Uniqlo T-shirt similar to this, but white. Again, splashback onto the shirt, red droplets everywhere.
So what's your lessons learned?
So one, you got to stand a bit further back and do the stream. But I did want to think about how could we remove those red stains off the white T-shirt. The white stains. Well, you got me thinking about the pants again.
What stains are you got?
So, you know me, I'm quite lazy. When that happened, I actually just left the T-shirt and just thought, I'll just come out in the wash. Left it there. Weekend came by, probably 5 days later. My wife threw it in the wash, and obviously the stains didn't come out. I thought, a couple more washes. I'll wear it a few more times.
My solution, you should dunk that shirt into the bucket of red wine.
And make it red.
Red, exactly.
That's another option. We could have done that. But she did find a way to do it, which I was super impressed by. I thought there's no way we're going to be able to get these stains out. I'm going to have to buy another shirt. But she found a way to do it.
Cut a hole.
No, that would wreck the show. I didn't want it to do that. And so I want to share the little tip that she did in how to remove the stains. But before I do that, I do want to share some other tips on considering how to get rid of red wine stains. So, you know me, I like the number 5. 5 tips for removing your red wine stains from your clothes. Step 1. Don't scrub the stain into the shirt. That's probably a very obvious one. If you do that, you're kind of spreading the stain further, and then you're rubbing it into the fibers, and it's just going to stay there and be more stubborn. Number 2, don't wait too long like what I did. Don't wait 7 days till you wash it. Try and do it within the first 24 hours to get rid of it. The longer that it's in there, it's kind of like tie-dye. It's just going to stay in there. Number 3, even after washing it, don't throw it into the dryer. So don't have any heat applied to it is tip number 3, because that's just going to change the chemical reaction. Number 4, I like this one. Apply a powdery dry substance to the stain. Now you're giving me a look. There's lots of different powdery substances. Yeah. This is something like salt.
Talcum powder,
something like that. That kind of... The liquids get attracted to things that are dry, and it'll kind of lift the stains off. And then lastly, if none of that works, then try this tip, which is the one that my wife did. So what my wife did, she got the stain, and then she got some dishwashing detergent, put that onto the stain. And at this point, it was already dry. So she started scrubbing at it. It was already too late. After that, she got some nappy sand, did the same thing, put it onto the stain, start scrubbing it in. And then she chucked it into the laundry for its regular wash, and the stains were gone.
Wow.
You ever heard of that?
No.
How do you remove your stains?
I use nappy sand. Yeah. I follow the instructions, spray it on, let it soak in, and then
Yeah.
wash afterwards. Yeah,
We
And if
did
not-
that as well before. It didn't work with
Yeah.
this. It must have been really stubborn. I left it on too long.
Yeah,
But let us know in the comments below, what kind of ways do you remove your red wine stains, not white wine stains, not white stains from your clothes? What have you been thinking about?
what I've been thinking about. So I was looking at the news, and the news had the headline: "World's largest online wine shop opens its first physical store in Singapore."
Oh,
Do you know what that is?
No, what is it?
Vivino.
Wow, the world's largest.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, so not the world's largest store, but it's the world's largest site for crowdsourced ratings, right?
Right.
65 million users,
Okay.
started in 2010. But yes, they've started their first physical store in Singapore. So is 100 wine labels, more than 100 wine labels that have a score or rating of 4.0 or more.
Okay.
And then it has some other offerings. It's called Vivino Wine Bar. So it offers by the glass tastings for $8 Singaporean by the glass. Then you also compare it with like a tapas style, but with a Singaporean influence onto it. So think like chao kway teow or satay for like $12 a dish. And so they play around the different pairings. So I was looking on YouTube on some of the reviews on it, and it still seems quite positive, but it just makes me kind of think like, what do you think of this? Like we heard about Vivino being the blind leading the blind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this just another wine store? Or is it something that kind of, triggers you that I want to try this as well?
Well, it's got, what's got me interested? It's these specific pairings around the Singaporean food. So that's kind of unique, and regardless of Vivino, it's got me hooked, and I'd want to give it a try. I guess they're a business. They're just trying to attract more crowds and try something new. I got to say, I'd try it. I'd go try those pairings.
Okay, we'll go then. We'll go to Singapore.
All right.
What do you guys think?
Let us know in the comments below. Awesome. All right, so we are celebrating Australia Day. Like we said earlier, Trent's wearing gold, I'm wearing green. That's a sign, I think. Do you always wear yellow on Australia Day or green?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, of course. We got to celebrate it. It's obviously an important day here. And what we want to do is talk about what wines we would use to celebrate Australia Day. Now, Australia Day itself, not many people may know about the history and what it's about. So I'll just touch quickly on what that is, and then we'll introduce our wines. So Australia Day, it's the 26th of January today. That's the day we celebrate every year. And historically, that was to celebrate when Arthur Phillip entered Sydney Cove with the first European settlers. But really, that hasn't acknowledged and respected the First Nations people of this country. I'm talking about the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. So I think Australia Day is changing. I think Australia Day is now really there to respect Australia's entire history, how complicated a history it's had, and all of the people and traditions that we have within our country. It's about our evolving history and our stories. And I was kind of thinking about my stories and memories of Australia Day. Well, before I go into that, Australia Day to you, is there any interesting stories from your past?
It's for me, I was mentioning, and I talked to you on WhatsApp, and it's a touchy subject, but I think, for me, it's about, we're from multicultural backgrounds, very much multicultural society as well. And it's about that kind of Australianism, may I say? Like, it is kind of embracing things all Australian. Like, I think about beaches. I think about getting out there and playing sport, playing a bit of cricket, having fun with mates, that larrikin kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's that. It's not so much about,
Arthur
Phillip and all that.
Yeah.
But I feel it's just celebration of the community, the cultural feel about what it is.
Yeah. And that's what I love about Australia. I think it's the multiculturalism, the diversity, all of the different cultures that we have to celebrate. Two memories that I have of Australia Day. One was when I was younger. I'm trying to imagine the age. I feel like it was in the year 1988. So I was probably like 2.
Yeah.
No, older. No.
Yeah, you weren't born, right? No.
1988, we went into the Harbour Bridge and we watched the boat. There was some boat race that was happening at the time, and it was a big event. There was also an Australia Day parade. A bit later on, we got into this habit of celebrating at the beach, and we'd always go to Bronte, and our good friend Manny would be organising this. We'd be at Bronte, couple of beers, by the beach, sometimes playing cricket, sometimes catching a ball, just hanging out with mates, exactly what you were saying.
Yeah.
And I think that's the kind of day and celebration that we Aussies
After
love.
the frustration of actually finding parking and finding a spot.
That's why we need a lot of drinks after that, because it was very hard. But let us know how you all are celebrating Australia Day. What we wanted to talk about is some wines that we are drinking for Australia Day. And so we might jump straight into those. You want to go through Chardonnay first?
Chardonnay first, let's do that.
All right. So I'll hold this up to the screen. It's an A. Rodda 2023 Chardonnay Willow Lake from Yarra Valley. Now, I bought this in for a couple of reasons. One, to celebrate the fact that Chardonnay is now the most crushed grape variety within Australia. It's taken over the mighty Shiraz. So we got to have a Chardonnay to celebrate in Australia.
It's absolutely crushing it at the moment.
It's Chardonnay, like what you did there. Two, I thought that the story of A. Rodda Wines is quite interesting. A. Rodda is made by Adrian Rodda, and he's worked with some great Aussie winemaking legends. So he spent a decade or so working with David Bicknell out in Oak Ridge, and he's also spent time with Mark Walpole, who you had the opportunity to meet from Fighting Gully.
Road. Yeah.
In Beechworth. And so he's now currently based in Beechworth, and he was working with Mark as using Mark's viticultural skills to work on the oldest vineyard in Beechworth, which is Smith's Vineyard. Other things interesting about this wine, the grapes Willow Lake Vineyard are also from Yarra Valley, but also used by Oak Ridge in their Chardonnays, and their Chardonnays are well renowned. I think they won Chardonnay of the Year, Halliday 2025, for their Chardonnays as well. So I thought this would be an interesting one to try, and you've been having a bit. What do you think?
I guess the first thing is so he's based in Beechworth. They're using grapes from the Yarra there. But obviously he's also using Beechworth. So it seems that he's trying to get this kind of diverse mix. Interesting kind of hear from where he's kind of going in terms of the style. Yeah. But yeah, we can touch on that. But this one, tried it. I feel like the nose of it's still slightly muted. Like it's not kind of floral, big perfume. Still feels a bit kind of close for me. White nectarines, a touch of oyster shell coming through. Yeah. And then on the palate, medium acidity. I don't know, a hint of VA coming through, volatile acidity, but it's more kind of that very much riper fruits. But it's very solid wine, more fruit driven is what I see in terms of this type of wine. Yourself? We opened this up probably 30 minutes ago, and it was straight out of the fridge, but the temperature's gone down. So when you're saying that it's a bit muted on the nose, maybe that's a factor, but 30 minutes has been a decent time as well. There is a nectarine that you're talking about, but there's also a bit of flintiness to it. I was quite interested in the feel of it. It's quite a nice velvety texture. And the finish itself is interesting because I'm scrunching my face. There's something, and maybe it's the VA that you're referring to, but there's something that's making my face kind of scrunch back. Yeah. Which is... Scrunch back. But you can tell in my face, so anyone watching, my face isn't my normal face. You're making up words now.
But it's just a hint of that right at the end, which I'm not enjoying.
Why did you pick this one for Australia Day? Is it very representative of Australia, or?
I went through the points. Chardonnay, #1 crushed grape. Yeah. Interesting that he worked with multiple Australian legends in winemaking. Okay. Yeah.
And you just want to try this one as well.
And I did want to try this one. Now, to your point earlier about what's the style he's trying to do, he's also created single estate Chardonnays from King Valley, I think is his, and then one from Beechworth. So he's kind of using the three.
I want to try his Beechworth ones.
We might have an opportunity to do that. Let's see. So let's go to Corkscrew ratings. What do you think?
Oh, it's a solid wine, but I feel there's probably better ones in his range. He's still quite solid, 6 out of 10.
I was thinking a 7 out of 10, but the scrunching of the face is what's impacting me. I don't exactly know what that is. Yeah. So I'd agree with you. It's a good wine. Not happy with that kind of scrunching sensation that I have, I'd give that a 6 out of 10 as well.
Cool.
Let's go for the ones that you brought in for Australia Day.
So you mentioned us going to the beach. And when we go to the beach, we have a few cans,
Yeah.
right? And the cans have gone through evolution from beers, and now we're going to look at wine in cans. So I got these Scarborough Wine Co. wine in the cans. They do 4 different flavors: Vermentino, Chardonnay, Tempranillo Joven, and also Pinot Noir. And on the website, they have the tagline, "You can have it all."
Oh,
you
nice.
Can have it all. Okay. So introducing wine in a can. And there's a few reasons why, you want to try wine in a can. So the ones that they had on the website was convenient. Think picnics, think Australia Day at the beach. You don't want to carry a bottle around. You can put it in the esky. It's quite easy to crack one open. Second one, irresistible flavors. So they do very kind of lighter flavors, quite refreshing. Tempranillo, Chardonnay, Vermentino, very fresh, zippy ones. And Pinot Noir, I'm also quite interested to try as well. And also the ones that have a bit of a spritz on it as well. So a bit of bubbles, that kind of freshness. So I think on the beach, it's hot, it's 30 degrees, knocking one down, refreshes just like a cold beer. Next one, sustainable and eco-friendly, lightweight, recyclable, smaller carbon footprint than glass bottles, so good for the environment. Fourth one is smaller serving size as well. I always have that trouble where you bring out a bottle, 750 ml, not everyone's having it, but you want to try a few different things. Smaller serving size, get to try this one for yourself, open another one for someone else. Yeah. It's just easy to manage. Yeah. And then last one, it's party ready. You chill them, they're ready at any time. Yeah. Rather than trying to chill the whole bottle.
I feel like we're back at Bronte already and just ready to crack some open.
I know. So we're going to crack these open. Which one should we try? Are we going to try them all?
Look, I think we should try the Vermentino, right? What do you reckon?
There we go. I'm going to try the shiny.
You're going to switch it up? All right. I love the design of these, by the way. Like the interesting illustrations on them look fantastic.
Look gorgeous, gorgeous.
So we've got Vermentino Shardy. We've also got a Tempranillo Joven?
Joven,
What
which
the hell
is
does that
young
mean?
Tempranillo.
Of course.
So we'll pick a wine, pick a red each. So you want the Tempranillo or the Pinot Noir?
I'd love to try a Joven.
Joven. Okay, knock this down. So while you try that one, actually, let's.
Can you hear this sound in the mic? That sounds like summer. Sounds like Australia Day.
Cheers.
Happy Australia Day.
While you taste and process that one, other fun facts. It's not just a fad. Canned wine sales have skyrocketed in recent years. In 2023, US $605 million. In 2030, it's projected to go to $1.5 billion in terms of sales. So it seems to be a trend that's kind of increasing. Next one, freshness lock-in. It's in a can. It keeps it fresh. It's like you hear that open it up. It's refreshing. Next one, it's not just for cheap wine as well. So don't think of it as a goon bag, something for cheap wine. You can actually put really good wines in it, and it's portable. It's easy to drink. What are you thinking?
The packaging itself actually looks quite premium. You know what? The first sip I had of this Vermentino, I loved it. That was delicious. It was refreshing. Vermentino, we think about that lemon pith kind of flavor. It's there, but it's kind of balanced with the spritz. Refreshing's the right word. It's really nice.
The Chardonnay is a lighter, not a full-bodied, but more on the lighter spectrum of Chardonnay. Bit of pithiness to it as well, but it's really, again, light, refreshing, zippy. Again, on the beach type of wine. Yeah, I'm loving this. Like Hunter's really pushing out some really good stuff, and to be this innovative with these kind of wines in the can looks great, tastes great as well. We might do a little
a swapsies
as well to try your Vermentino. I don't know, I might get Jason Germs.
Yeah.
Other things. Millennials and Gen Z love it. Young generations are valuing the convenience and innovation around cans. So you see that kind of growth, and it's probably representative of that kind of growth to 1.5 billion in 2030. And also a big one for me, no corkscrew, no problem. So many times you've gone out and you got the wine, some are still corks, and they go, oh, where's the corkscrew? This one, crack it open, convenience.
Yeah. I've gone through the Tempranillo and then to the Chardonnay, kind of mixed it up there. but you can really get the variety of each within each flavor. Like the Vermentino, quite distinct from the Shardy, quite distinct from the Tempranillo. So the flavors of the grapes actually come through, but it's still quite refreshing because of that spritz. I've got to say my highlight still the Vermentino.
I'm loving that kind of greeniness to it. It's that kind of fresh. It's like a bit like the kind of GMT, but with a bit of spritz to it.
You could have so much of that. It's a very
delicious.
Did you have the Pinot?
I haven't had the Pinot yet. You'll try the Tempranillo. Other fun fact, the cans are perfect for sparkling wine, so head to spritz as well, right? Think Coke, think all your fizzy drinks, it keeps that kind of fizziness, carbonated goodness inside. Popping it open, it just does wonders.
The Tempranillo is giving me sangria vibes, kind of that cool red. You've got an interesting face with the Pinot. I can't even read that. What are you thinking?
I think what I didn't realize when I read Pinot, I was thinking Pinot wine, but it's actually a Pinot grape as a rosé.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So it's actually, again, very light, refreshing, bit of tannins to it.
Yep.
That can kind of pair off with, again, I'm going to use at a beach, you bring in some salami, charcuterie, anything, bits and bites, cheeses, cheddars. Yep. Just kind of go beautifully with that one, but you can also have it by itself. It still has that kind of freshness to it. It's not something like, I need something else with it. It's just there that's kind of refreshing, but it's more like it's like when you have beers, you have the lager, the pale ales, and you have the darker ales as well. It's just a different level from it, but still very refreshing.
There's absolutely a place for this. I'm keen to try your Pinot and see what that's like. Let's do a swapsies. And on Australia Day, why are you wiping? What's going on there?
I don't know. It might have been those white stains you're mentioning before. Yeah. I'm a bit worried about.
I'm not gonna give that a crack. I want to try this rosé spritz Pinot Noir.
Has a kind of like berry, cherry, kind of a creaming soda type of feel to it. Doesn't have the spritz on it, but again, it's very delicious, especially with that kind of light chill to it. Loving it.
Well done, Scarborough. I think this works. I wasn't sure. There's always that skepticism about wine in a can.
What do you think about the Pinot?
I like the Pinot. I like the red fruits coming out of it. I think, like, if I was to, in order of my preference, Vermentino number 1, the Pinot Shardy, and then the Tempranillo. What about you?
Definitely Vermentino first. I like the spritz, the rosé spritz, the Tempranillo, and then the Chardonnay. So I'll probably do it in that order there.
And what's good is that the packaging kind of, you get the variety. Yeah. So it's not just one. You get to try and sample each. Yeah. That's fantastic.
And you drink with your eyes as well. You look at the great packaging around it. It just feels very light, fresh, relaxed around it as well. Delicious. What do you think? Australia Day is
going to be wine in a can going forward, I reckon. It's not going to be the beers. It's going to be the wines. Awesome. So that's some ideas around what you can be drinking today for Australia Day. I hope everyone has a fantastic day celebrating this great nation.
What are you drinking for Australia Day?
All right. And as we say here,
drink more, try more,
learn more.